Is this dialable?
This is the point source for
Here we are at the Connections Museum. What's this telephone for? Telephone's not active. No idea. I didn't get in here. There's another telephone. Do we call somebody to let us in? I see something here. Huh. Take the elevator. Elevator intercom. A button. We'll try that. While we're waiting, it's fun to spend time in a phone booth. How's that for nostalgia? Oh, and here we go. I hear voices. I saw one of these telephone benches on, where was it? The Buy Nothing app, I think. I still wanted to get it. I think these are antiques, or close to it.
Number two, the stuff is electrically energized, so unless it's like a telephone or something, please ask before you touch it. Probably say yes, but there are others that do have exposed connectors.
Another phone booth.
Several voltages, the primary voltage is negative 48 volts. Some voltages are like 130, so when they range about 90, but there's a bit of work there. Yeah. So, you know, don't just touch like apps and stuff. Other than that, I think we're good to go. This used to be an office station. Yes, in fact, it still is. The first floor.
More telephones this way.
Is currently serving customers in this neighborhood. Okay. So this was. Yes, the third floor is the museum.
We just went in.
You can pay the bells to rent for you in the central office if you were big enough. And so when Boeing migrated off of Centrex to their own internal telephone system, this floor became available. And that's how the museum is here. Yeah.
Who's that? You know, who's first of all?
It was
A person or
this person, yeah. Is this
Airports?
There was the last one in existence in the world. It was here in Seattle. It was about to get scrapped. And like they should preserve at least one of these things. So he and some of his friends, co-workers, founded this museum, took the space over from Pacific, moved the equipment from another central office into here and started the FCC. Maybe it was some other person who discovered it too much. So that's all it is. But let's move over to the telephone now. A lot to cover, so I'm going to try to make it cord wars.
How vintage is this?
That's a good question. So this particular model goes back to, I want to say the 20s, but they made them for a while. Yeah, I don't know exactly off the top of my head how old this one was, but the design fundamentally was the same for a really long time. Silence, which is called a step-by-step switch, was invented by this dude over here, Almond Stroger, in the photograph. By all accounts, he was kind of a grumpy old guy who didn't like people, especially very much. He decided to make a switch that didn't require by
measures how skewed that is working people. And I think failure mode is very
Yeah,
long.
finders. So that if your neighbor who is also wired to the same line finder as you is using the phone, the next line finder will find your line because that one is busy. And this is a theme throughout the switch. Yeah. Yeah. So when you pick up the phone, line finder jumps into action. You're closing a circuit when you pick up your phone off the hook switch. And now you should have dial tone. The line finder has connected you to dial tone, which signals that you may begin dialing. So can you dial 275 8988? And we'll do this a few times. There it is. Takes a sec.
That magnetic tape stock that they use for that.
Yeah.
Guys like paper will actually it'll fall down. Do its thing. I'm curious, what's your favorite? So my area
I think, that's my group. You can literally get lost in this museum. Oh, here we go. Happy birthday.
Computer with a bunch of phone lines that makes calls to random phone numbers inside of the switch. Yeah, and that's just to kind of keep it exercised. Like if this thing sits still, it doesn't work very well. It needs to be moving so that like it cleans itself and lubricates. Like it's moving. Yeah. But let's see. Let's turn on the call line. So, yeah, where should I start? So the way this switch is built is kind of like ATM. So rather than building the switch in a factory and shipping the frames over to where it's going to be installed, the manufacturer is involved. The manufacturer built all of the components. And they build them in frames to the central office where clocks telling them the time of day and time elapsed. Now, this actually became a service that customers came to rely upon. At first, people would just call, like pick up their phone, the operator would answer, this is before the dial, and the operator would be happy to tell them the time of day if they weren't too busy doing other things. They knew the time of day because they had clocks in the central office where they switched calls because they had to use them for billing. Later, the telephone company, in order to reduce the load on operators getting these types of calls, they just assigned one person to have a shift where they would just read the time off of a clock every 15 seconds. This wasn't an 8-hour shift, though. And apparently from operators who used to have this job that people, museum staff have spoken to, they liked it. Like, this was not a bad job because customers couldn't talk back to you. This was a one-way telephone line. And so people would call in and a light would come on. Yes. This is basically an AC synchronous clock, so it syncs to the 60 hertz AC used in the US to figure out what time it is to count 60ths of a second and just turn a mechanical clock at the right speed. And yeah, there's a magnetic drum here. It's wrapped with the same, it's not really wrapped. Yeah.
Interesting.
So there's basically two sets of commutators. One for AC and one for DC. And so as like a single unit, they would just have wires coming in for DC, wires coming in for AC. Other pieces of equipment they just Okay. So, Yeah, so basically are inspired.
Alright, okay.
So the switching fabric here is crossbar matrix. It's called crossbar for kind of obvious reasons. It creates
One wire primary one.
He puts an outlet
This side.
dynamically correct. So that's the crossbar itself.
Very kind of like, yeah. But this one here, obviously no. So this then takes the call.
So the way that these things would work is
Whoa. This is the second floor. Oh, I better hurry before they lose me.
installed indoors in a telephone office. But if you look above your heads, you can see the type of equipment that was installed outside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's outdoor stuff. And then we also have just like a bunch of
These are little tiny telephones.
Ground and the bottom. There was two pairs of phone lines.
Yeah, there were two wires for each phone, but they're all separate. You can see how that looked in like the early 20th century. This is a photo down, I think 3rd Avenue, 2nd Avenue in downtown Seattle around 1912, of course. Many other cities, which are much larger, more dense than Seattle, have far more telephone wires, telegraph wires. So again, this kind of thing did not scale very well. It took up far too much physical space. So eventually we ended up
The trouble too, I'm sure maintenance wise.
yeah, things like
Birds.
well,
Wind.
wind would cause them to cross over and you get crossed. Yeah, so it wasn't a great system, but it worked at first. They borrowed this from telegraph. So they figured out insulation.
Not just the air.
So unfortunately, flexible thermoplastics had not been invented yet. That wouldn't happen until the late 1940s.
Impregnated cotton.
It's paper. This is
Oh,
paper.
paper, yeah. Oh, there you go.
This is paper. So these are like sleeves over the splices, but it's over cotton insulated wire, or sorry, paper insulated wire. And if you want to like come in and see, you can see the splice is just like kind of twisted with wires or something like
Yeah.
that. It's not soldered together. And then they just slide this little fabric
And let it
sleeve
be.
over it and let it
There
be.
better be no more.
You just have to keep the water out. And so the way they keep the water out is they pressurize it. Every iPhone central from getting into it and ruining the insulation.
Bubbles up.
Nitrogen sometimes, or other like inert gases if they fit.
Yeah.
I would put this in there.
What?
So that's
Yeah, that's fine. Did you read cable over there? Did you replace the Ethernet cable over there?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, so you tore down the network.
I tore down the network.
That screen indeed was you back in the other thing. It's also being engaged with
That's how you get your gigabit fiber programs through those things. I'm weird. It's like half of it. Kind of built as a telephone museum, like that's how it's described, but it's actually a very small amount of things. There you go.
The owner was mounted.
So I think these are some of the only things like in a case because we don't want them to walk away. Terribly rather rare, but pretty much everything else. Shoot. I know the way that these cables are. Right. Alright, well, I can't find the
That is awesome.
These are the like people who'd come and replace the batteries in your telephone, basically.
The dog, the most important.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a dog. Oh my God.
I turn this crank right here, so if you look over at that board, and I turn this, oh, can you flip that up? What is this one? This? Yeah, 14 right there. Can you flip that up? I think that might be. I don't see numbers. Oh, sorry. I can count. Up here. There's 14. Yeah. So these cranks right here. When you turn it, it rings the bell over there and drops the number to the operator so that you can see what phone is ringing. So at that point, you did the same thing that we did with the first switchboard upstairs. So like, perhaps there wasn't like electricity in this area yet, but there was telephone because electrification actually came after telephone in many parts of the United States. Drop it if it's drop over there. Yeah. 89.
And what's up with the, is there cards? Do I see cards in here? Billing cards or something?
Yeah, for long distance, which we skipped over, the operator would fill out a ticket. Basically. Yeah. So this is the hash phone is sort of interesting because the company that made this was actually sued. Yeah, they were sued by the telephone company, by Bell, because you're not allowed to connect non-Bell equipment to the telephone system.
Okay.
And so at this point, Bell was still a monopoly telephone service provider in the United States. They weren't the phone company. So touching on what I just talked about renting your telephone, you could go to the phone store and you could buy lines. However, you would still have a rental line item for your telephone on the phone bill every month. And the reason why is like rather ridiculous. I need to find out.
Oh, I just saw one of these donut phones in a movie yesterday.
Here, on the bottom of this phone, it says, this is like one of the custom phones you could buy at the phone store. The telephone housing is your property. To assure quality of service, all working parts, for example, dial, cords, and electrical components, remain the property and responsibility of the Bell Telephone Company. If you were like, I don't want telephone service anymore, they would come and take the guts out of your phone and give you the housing to keep because that was yours. But the internal working parts were property and responsibility of the Bell system. Actually, this one says 1894 in the patent date. So the first patent was 1886. This one is 1894. So this is an 1890s example of a phone created in the 1880s. It's a payphone. You would put money into these slots. It would be in a place where someone could look at it. Like, it wouldn't be out on the street where someone could break the wood open and take the money out. So this would be in like
In a hotel lobby.
in a hotel lobby, exactly.
Train station?
Maybe. It's got an elbow rest.
That's it, you know, one of the.
That is like so early
I want you to
1900s.
come and look at the coin slots in here. Well, the slots, and look at what they're labeled. So this is 1890. I don't know if any of you can look up how much a dollar was worth in 1886.
Yeah. Wow.
But
But it was probably about $50.
Wow.
They did not give you change or nothing. So you had to. So how did you know how much money to put in?
The operator would tell you.
Okay. How would you put in that money?
That's a great question. Would you like to put the money in? So the operator tells you how much money to put in. Listen.
I know, it's just rings like
Oh, wow.
So the operator would be listening and knows which bells mean how much money and would add it up in her head. And
They would
tell you
memorize
that you
it.
put in enough money. Yeah.
Oh.
You put in enough money.
Technology.
Yeah.
So it's just different bells. So this is a really old phone, but the concept persisted.
More telephone wires, telephone poles.
The exact same type of system. Where if you put in a quarter, you get a sound like that. If you put in a nickel, you put in a dime. I mean, the dime's great, it's twice, right? So that was a bit easier for the operators. You have the dome.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Can you do that again?
Yeah, so put in a nickel. I'll put in a dime. I'll put in a quarter. I'll try to put in a quarter. It's a bit hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
That's nice. I remember seeing those someplace.
For the phone books?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You flip around and you're.
Yeah, so that's how the operator did
Okay, but remember
how much money you put in. It wasn't until the 1970s single slot. These are called Fortress payphones. Internally.
Was it a fortress really?
So it was the equipment in like the number 5 crossbar that would actually control the payphones from far away. Nowadays, payphones are not operated by the telephone company anymore. They're privately owned, all customer operated, customer owned, coin operated telephones. And they have a whole kind of computer inside that decides how much money you should put in there.
Depending on whatever they're on.
Exactly.
So
This is
I moved to States in 1990.
This phone is so huge.
Hate phones. someplace in Riviera.
So what
Looked up.
location is
Anyone or
that's very expensive.
Hello, testing 1 2.
Wow.
it was hiding in someplace. Somehow, someone hiding. I believe you got more to this real deal.
Someone got up.
I mean, I cannot see how else would it work.
That's pretty wild. That's quite cool. Right there.
Oh, I see.
Yes, flexible groups. There's one on the second floor.
What's so fancy in your house? The hidden tunnel?
This is the coin sorter for the papers.
Oh, is this dialable?
This is the coin sorter for the This thing likes to kind of eat some coins.
It is. Sometimes
Oh my god. Oh wow.
Step on it. Is it not working?
it's sorted out by hand.
It's not plugged in, but it's probably real. It might be a good reason for this. We'll find out.
Oh wow. Lost it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, it ate it.
Not plugged in. Oops.
Yes.
Free ESS is completely off. I'm gonna go downstairs, go upstairs, shut off the switches.
Okay.
Then I'm going to eat. Yeah. Where are we going? Cody, Matt, we're going to Loretta's.
Okay.
Oh, wow. It seems like we are not invited, so we have I think I'm
That's
so
our cue.
much.
Thank you for coming in.
All right.
Enjoy
Thank
the
you.
rest of the day.
Airplane telephone.
You too.
Snoopy.
Yeah, like what's your background? Because
What's
you
your
do
qualifications?
you're mechanical or to some extent.
Computer engineering.
That's all I got for you today. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. And we'll see you all later.